pool cleaning has a new hero, Aiper and the award-winning Aiper Seagull Pro. They're on a mission to eliminate pool maintenance and transform your pool into paradise. A quad-motor system packed with the power of wave path navigation technology and up to 3 hours of cleaning allow you to sit, forget, and relax. So the question isn't, is the Seagull Pro for you? But really, what will you do with all this rediscovered time? Ready to take a deeper dive? Visit Aiper.com to learn more.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Trusty, and with me today, I got my friend Rudy Stankowitz, CPO instructor, best-selling author, and host of the Talking Pools podcast. It's a pleasure to have you back with us today on the show, Rudy.
It is a pleasure to be here, Joe. It's been too long. We should do this more. The season gets in the way sometimes, but it's been a great year.
Yeah, I mean, I love catching up with you at the pool shows and just chatting with you online on social media and on your group a lot. I know that you are a huge horror film buff, same as I, and you're always posting weird stuff on your social media, like shrunken heads of customers who put tablets in the skimmer, or you got a carnivorous.
Yes. I have voodoo dolls for stuff like that.
Yeah. You got a carnivorous plant that you feed pool techs that flunk your CPO course too.
I have I think I have a dozen carnivorous plants right now at the moment, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're co-producing a horror film right now, right?
I am.
People are calling you Hollywood now. Have you gone Hollywood on us? I mean, how did this whole thing come about?
No, it's that, well, years ago I wrote a horror novel. It's called Blades of Glass, and it's a psychological thriller, and it did pretty well. And when I put that out there, I went out on social media, Twitter, and all those different things with it as the author of that book, and started developing friendships with folks that were in independent films as well, and some major films, folks that would talk from time to time along that genre. So it's like a big family, actually. And that was my step in the door. And in that, one of the people that I was chatting with over the years, Hannah Fierman, she's the director of the movie. She's been in a lot of independent horror movies. She's been in some major films. And this opportunity came about this year where I could step in as an associate producer. And I was like, well, hell yeah. So I'm really excited about that. The film's written by Drew Fortier. He's of the band Lucid. He's a guitar player in that band. And then there's a lot of other names in there. If you watch independent films and some major flicks, we have Cheney Morrow from Wrong Turn. We have Paul Taylor from Hellraiser, Floyd Ewing from The Dead Next Door, Douglas Asper from Dwellers, James L. Edwards. We have Daniel Kearney, and a few other folks in there as well. It's then even looking at the other producers among the bunch of us, there's David Ellefson. He's the ex-Megadeth bass player. Then we have Vincent J. from Insane Clown Posse, Vinny Dombrowski from Sponge and Lucid. It's an eclectic group for sure. I'm excited about it.
That's an awesome side project for you. It's called Bunker Heights. I mean, what's the premise of the movie about?
It's a troubled city. There's a catastrophic event going on. Elements of crime, horror. There's a bunch of dark comedy in there. It's really just a narrative that follows the citizens as they navigate the looming threat that's jeopardizing their existence.
Yeah, I took a look at the teaser trailer that you guys came out with. It kind of looks like almost like a purge scenario. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. It's a pity that you guys couldn't work in a pool angle though there for Bunker Heights.
I came in toward the end. I mean, not that there won't be a pool project coming up, and I'm looking at this as my foot in the door to other opportunities as well. So, my getting started. So I came in this one as an associate producer. I did come in at the tail end of it. So I can't take a lot of credit for anything that's going on, but I do get to be a part of it. I'm excited about that. And Joe, I got to tell you, if you were to go to, and this is a surprise, we're going to break this news right here. IMDb, if you go there, I do have the associate producer credit. I don't know where this pops up from, but I know IMDb all of a sudden has me on it, and it's like one of those gray heads without a face because there's not even anything there. But if you go there, you'll see that I have the associate producer credit, but I also, Joe, have an acting credit.
Oh, nice. You got some lines in this movie, huh?
I didn't say I had any lines, Joe. I said I have an acting. I have the smallest acting role in a movie possible. But my character does have a name, so it's not like third guy on the left. I do have a named character.
All right, so you're not dead
Uh,
guy number
so
three, something like that. Okay.
I am not dead guy number three, person mauled by streetcar, any of those things. I am Lyle, and that's all I'm telling you on that for right now. You're gonna
Well,
have to watch the flick.
cool. Well, speaking of horror movies, there's just a ton of great flicks that have featured swimming pools over the years. I mean, you're a horror film buff and an aficionado. What are some of the movies you'd recommend to folks who want to combine that love of swimming pools with a good, scary popcorn flick this season?
Good movies. The big one right now that folks are still talking about has to be Night Swim. I had mixed emotions on it. I took a look at this. It came out. It stars Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's kid, and it's got some really decent parts in it. It's centered around a swimming pool that starts out seemingly normal, but then everything goes awry. And it has some good solid moments. It has some good solid scares to it. The malevolent presence that resides in the water of the pool becomes increasingly haunting, affecting their lives, and the pool just really transforms into a nightmare. The thing I didn't like about it is that to me, if you watch a lot of horror movies, you'll see a lot of the bits, they mirrored a lot of other films that I was already familiar with, but
Yeah.
still overall a great film. It's the film quality is great, the acting's good, and there's some unbelievable things that a pool professional watching the film can easily point out as you go through if you want to nitpick at some of it. But, I wouldn't be too harsh.
Yeah, I mean, people watch these movies so that they can suspend disbelief a little bit, and they just want to sit there and enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. We can nitpick all of them, but they've got some great point parts to them. So I would say, yeah, check out Night Swim. That's a recent one. Some other ones that are really good. Day Shift. We're not going to get away without mentioning Jamie Foxx's film
Yeah, the
from last year,
vampire
Day
flick.
Shift.
Yeah.
So that's really doesn't involve a pool, but it involves a pool guy. So I have to say Final Destination 4. The Final Destination films, I think they're a fantastic premise. You can't escape death. That's what it's about. And if you miss the point where you're supposed to die, somehow death will find you. That's the gist of these films. And there's been quite a few of them. But in Final Destination 4, there's a scene that involves a pool. And it's a good movie. And it is a gruesome scene where one of the characters ends up in the pool, gets sucked to the main drain grate, and is disemboweled, which can happen. Maybe
Yeah.
not the way he fell in the pool, maybe not the way he was drawn to the bottom, but that's the whole reason behind the Virginia Graham Baker Act to prevent entrapment issues like the one depicted there.
Yeah.
And now, of course, obviously, this goes a bit beyond because something happens at the pump, explodes, his intestines go everywhere, and everybody gets covered in blood. And that part, not so real. But people have lost portions of their intestines due to main drains. So
Sure.
it's a scary thing.
Yeah, that
It
one hit
is
very close to reality. I mean, every time I'm behind one of those big rigs on the highway and they're carrying like all those logs, I think, is this my final destination moment? Because these movies
okay.
bring up real life scenarios that can really happen. I mean, yeah, getting sucked into that drain actually happened this year, just to an 8-year-old kid in Houston.
At the DoubleTree. That's right. I heard about that. That was in a lazy river. For some reason, there was a 16-inch pipe that was supposed to be pushing water into the pool and end up the pump was somehow running in reverse. I'm not even sure the details on that, but it was sucking water instead of pushing water in. Super scary.
Which movie or movies would you rate as maybe one of your all-time scariest that feature a pool or a water feature, and why?
Not my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street, but Freddy's Revenge, Elm Street 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. There's a scene where Freddy Krueger terrorizes partygoers in a pool, and that becomes really the biggest pool party massacre you could ever imagine. I think that's a great film. Another has to be the poltergeist scene when Jo Beth Williams runs out of the house, ends up falling into the pool that they're about to build. You know, it's raining, the walls are collapsing. She's in the water. Caskets start popping up. Skeletons start floating around. And the cool thing about that, the really cool thing about that, some trivia about the movie is that they didn't want to manufacture skeletons. They didn't think they could get skeletons that looked real enough to be bodies. So what they did was they actually took skeletons from science labs, the ones that they, hinge together and they have in doctors' offices standing up or in classrooms. And that's what they used, real skeletons floating in this body of water with her as Poltergeist is going nuts inside the house.
I just read an article about that. It's funny that you brought up the Poltergeist movie because that home where the film was actually made just hit the market for the first time in 45 years. It's listed at like 1.2 million in realtor.com, and they actually finished the pool.
They finished the pool. Okay.
So you're not.
Well, they would have had to because there wasn't a pool there when they filmed it. So that came in afterwards. I imagine. I want to know who built it. If you're out there and you built that pool, I hate to do this, but contact Joe. Let him know. He'll share it with me. Contact the podcast. Joe will tell you how. If you're the builder to that or had anything to do with the build of that pool, I want to know if you found anything in the hole when you were digging.
Yeah, that's that one movie I think that still holds up to today's audiences. I mean, like if you watched like Nightmare on Elm Street in 1985 when Freddy's Revenge came out, it's really like that kind of campy horror movie that
It
just
is.
gets you as scared as you got back in the day. But Poltergeist, man, that one still gets me today. If I see that pool scene, I'm still hanging on the edge of my seat, man.
You know what it is? It's Poltergeist was the very next horrific presence in a movie since The Exorcist. And that's where it really falls in place. That was the next presence along those lines that really wreaked havoc like that did. And I think that's one of the reasons why it resonates so well also, because there's not been a lot since then. I mean, we had the Conjuring films and they're all great and all of that, but really it's a different kind of category. And it's about people first seeing those things, that type of stuff in the theater as well. I mean, things have been redone and redone, but the first time, and they really did there's some humor in there as well. And it was just a nice mix. Craig T. Nelson, Jello Beth Williams, and I forget the little girl that played Carrie Ann, the curse of the movie, correct? She passed away shortly afterwards, did she not?
Yeah, tragic
It
circumstances.
was awful.
Yeah, but yeah, that movie was really a wild ride. I mean, don't build on an Indian burial ground. That's the moral
It's
of
a
that.
good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Well, and the other one that's supposedly on the Indian burial ground, not a pool, but Amityville. And
Yeah.
a lot of those movies.
It's funny you brought up Amityville because really I've seen the Night Swim movie, and that was the biggest impression of where I felt like they took gravitas on some of the material was just like beg, borrow, and steal from the Amityville theme, where instead of the whole house being haunted, it's just the swimming pool that's got a demonic possession on it, right?
There were some other things too that were borrowed and stolen from other movies. I mentioned that. I think that's what seemed like it was a quilt patchwork of. I mean, if you've not seen the other movies, you wouldn't think anything of it. But if you've seen them, then you'd be like, oh yeah, that's from this or that's from that. And that's the one thing I didn't like about it, because that was, to me, aside from the fact that they did put out a decent movie, it was a little bit insulting at points. But so. But yeah, Amityville, you grew up near that. So did I. We both grew up not too far from that one.
Yeah.
I actually used to take my kids trick-or-treating there when they were little, down that street, Ocean Avenue in Amityville, and we'd always stop at that house last, and nobody ever answered the door. We didn't expect them to. It never did. And then I would just take the kids home. We'd watch the movie, and that was Halloween. So yeah, it was a blast.
You got to grab a selfie in front of that house. That's the point.
Said at one time I had a picture of the house with a big Christmas wreath on the front of it, but I don't know where that ended up. But I did have that photo, and I just took it because, and normally I wouldn't take a picture of the house at all because I try to respect people's privacy, but it was just so odd to see it with a huge Christmas wreath hanging on the front of it. So
try to give that house a different vibe.
They changed the windows, they changed the address even.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
but
I
we
mean,
need to talk about pools.
all these movies do a great job at tapping into that primal fear that people have about swimming in general. I mean, fear of the unknown, fear of drowning. I mean, the psychological impact is been represented countless times in literature and in film. I think that the horror films that most resonate with me are the ones that use the pool to represent like that kind of thin layer between safety and terror. And not every scary movie has to be a gore fest. Some of those that use tension, fear of the unknown to great effect. One that I personally saw was The Deep End. All right. And
Okay.
I don't think that there's a drop of blood in this short film. It's just about a kid who decides to hop his neighbor's fence on a hot summer's day and go for a dip in their pool, but the pool is haunted. And it's a truly scary little short film. I would definitely recommend that as one of mine.
I have to tell you, I have to confess. I mean, for what I do, it's strange, but I have what they call thalassophobia, which is basically fear of water where you can't see the bottom.
Mhm.
And maybe it's because of those. Every time I get the chance now, and I know I do this, I'll go swim with rays. I'll go swim with sharks. And I don't mean like in a controlled environment down in the Galapagos. And my next trip, I'm planning to go to Cape Town to get in one of the cages with the great whites. I like to try to face my fear, but yeah, I have that. I'm terrified. And it takes me, I'll be literally, remember that meme with the cat that says hang in there while it's attached to the screen door? I'm
Yeah.
like that on the side of the boat. So,
Well,
but
facing your
there's,
fears is one thing. I mean, but that theme of swimming with the sharks or swimming with the
oh yeah.
alligators or crocodiles or swimming with piranhas, that comes up again and again and again in these horror movies that we've seen. I mean, recently, the one that comes to mind, that Wednesday Netflix series that came out where the girl Wednesday drops a couple of bags of piranhas into the pool. We actually wrote about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. That was fantastic. And then, and of course everybody's like, well, they wouldn't survive this, that, the chlorine, this, that. You know what? That's the fun of it. And it's great. And it was such a fantastic, that was the start to the series, wasn't it?
Yeah, the very start of it. Yeah.
The very first thing in there. So I thought that was really, really kind of cool.
You've had a podcast and you've written about this subject before, but I think that maybe there's a fun exercise and a hypothetical scenario we can do here. I mean, say you're called in to clean up after like a Freddy's revenge scenario. I mean, how do you approach the cleanup?
I get this call at least 2 or 3 times a year, not to the Freddy's Revenge level, but I do get calls from folks around the country. Hey, there was a body discovered in a pool, or the fire department contacted me. They want me to come out and do the hazmat remediation on the pool. How do we treat it? And you can. And I mean, I can go through the process. I've spoken with and developed criteria with different members of law enforcement and higher level positions. But the reality of it is nobody's going to want to swim in the water that had a dead body in it. So we can go through the whole thing. We can treat it, worst case scenario, treat it like you would a diarrhea incident in a pool, not the normal one, but the one if there was cyanuric acid in it, because that's a whole other one that takes a lot longer to do. And you can go through that process. But like I said, again, in the end, people are going to want you to drain the water.
Yeah.
So really, that's the way I would tackle it. Unless for some reason I'm out in some area where there's drought restrictions, then maybe we could go through the process just to ensure that the pool doesn't, I don't know, become a skate park or pop out of the ground or whatever. Then, we can treat the water to get that under control, get it remediated. But gosh, dead animals are one thing. A dead person in the pool, they want the water out.
Well, it happens more often than you'd think, I would imagine, especially at hotels or other commercial properties. I
That's
mean,
a lot of what the calls are. It's a lot of it it's suicides, unfortunately, sadly. I mean, no matter what it's from, it's a horrible thing, but most of the calls I get involve some type of a suicide in a backyard pool.
When it comes to watching scary movies, it's almost smart not to go down in the basement, so to speak. But I mean, say by unlikely chance you find yourself living out your worst case scenario, you're in this pool related horror movie. What do you think is some good advice?
Leave. That's what everybody does wrong in every horror movie. The minute you
Don't
see that
go in the
chair,
water.
yeah, you see a chair move 3 inches across the floor, time to move, pack your shit, get out. It's the thing with the pool. If you know things, the automatic cover starts to close on its own, time to go. Don't get in.
Well, lifeguards are always the first to go in those movies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You don't want to be the first person in the movie to take a shower. There's a whole list of rules to these things. But you know, speaking about the automatic covers, there's a movie about that as well. It's called 12 Feet Deep. It came out in 2017. It's actually directed by a person I know, Matt Eskandari. Stars a couple of people, Nora Jane Noon, Alexander Park, Diane Farr, but also, who doesn't get enough credit for being in the film, Tobin Bell is the pool manager.
Ah, is that a fact? See, you learn all these little interesting trivia tidbits when I talk to you.
Yeah, he's the pool manager. He's not the main star in the movie, but he is there. He's the pool manager. And what happens here is there's some girls swimming in the pool and something falls in. They dive in to get it. And as he's leaving, he looks at the pool. They're underwater, so he doesn't see them. So he flips the switch. The automatic cover closes. They're underwater.
But see, that's one that could definitely happen. Yeah.
And in this, to take it a step further, it could happen. The difference, the quality of the cover is a bit more rigid than anything that we would deal with. And there were definitely some things that occur in this movie that were not realistic. But one of the things that did happen also on top of the cover closing with people in the pool, at one point, the girls swim down to the main drain grate and their hair, the one girl with long hair, her hair is drawn to the grate and she actually gets tied to the floor of the pool.
Oh, wow.
And that's real.
Yeah.
That can happen. Hair entrapment's the number one form of entrapment we deal with or used to with main drain grates before the Virginia Graham-Baker Act went into effect.
See, and that's what I'm saying is like some of these films that do a great job of tapping into those real life scenarios that can play out. You know, it encapsulates you in that one moment of time where like you take all of your past swimming pool experience and it's very relatable. Like, hey, could this have ever happened to me? You know?
You were speaking about, you know, creature films. The one came out, I think it's a Korean film. And I've been watching a lot of cool films out of Korea since the pandemic. You know,
I know
this one's called this one.
The one with the crocodile. Yeah, that was
Yeah, the pool. It's the guy ends up in an empty pool. There's a big old crocodile falls in. He can't get out of the pool. And crocodile's in there with him throughout the whole movie. And that's, you know, it was a really good film.
that's a more likely to happen in Florida, I feel. You know, like
I've had gators and I told you the story. I had one of my techs call me once from a pool and say, "Hey, Rudy, you know what? I'm just letting you know I wasn't able to clean the whole pool today."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, well, you what happened? Let me know so I can tell the customer." And she said, "Well, you know, there's a 6-foot gator in the pool." I said, "Oh, you mean you weren't able to clean anything?" She goes, "No, I was afraid you were going to send me back later after it left, so I just vacuumed around it."
it is the stuff that could really happen.
All I was picturing in my mind is that sheriff's vehicle with the alligator tearing the fender off of it and stuff. And I'm thinking, you know, this is gonna grab the hammerhead, it's gonna yank you in with it. Don't clean pools with gators in it. Just don't, you know, wait till it's gone.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun today, Rudy. I mean, it's timely because we got Halloween coming up for sure. But it's
Definitely.
right in your wheelhouse. You're a film buff. I'm a film buff, and I had a lot of fun just talking about movies with you. Good
Oh,
time.
me too. Yeah, I love horror movies. I have since I was a kid, and there's a bunch I love. You know, also there's a lot of great ones that don't have pools involved. Like Bunker Heights coming out later this year. Watch for it. That one's one of, you know, I have a handprint on that one. So check it out and check out my minuscule acting role that got me an acting credit as well.
Check out the movie. Check out Rudy's IMDb. Nice plug, Rudy.
There you go.
Thanks for listening in. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
Pool cleaning has a new hero, Aiper and the award-winning Aiper Seagull Pro. They're on a mission to eliminate pool maintenance and transform your pool into paradise. A quad-motor system packed with the power of wave path navigation technology and up to 3 hours of cleaning allow you to sit, forget, and relax. So the question isn't, is the Seagull Pro for you? But really, what will you do with all this rediscovered time? Ready to take a deeper dive? Visit Aiper.com to learn more.